Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and trends from around the world. As we've been following the developments in Ukraine, it's become clear that the ongoing conflict has had a devastating effect on the country's farmers and agricultural industry. With many ports and transportation routes blocked or destroyed, Ukrainian farmers are struggling to export their goods, leading to significant losses and economic hardship. According to recent reports, Ukraine's agricultural output has declined by about a quarter in July compared to the previous month, with grain production being particularly affected. The price of food-grade wheat has plummeted by 30 to 35%, making it increasingly difficult for farmers to cover their production costs. Some farms are even operating at a loss, with annual losses from unsold agricultural produce estimated to be around $20.5 billion. The Ukrainian government has vowed to provide support to farmers, including extending loan programs and applying for aid from the European Commission. However, experts argue that more needs to be done to address the long-term challenges facing the industry. With the European Union having reinstated customs restrictions and quotas, Ukraine's export options are limited, and the country is in dire need of a new strategy to ensure its agricultural products can reach global markets. As we continue to monitor this developing story, it's essential to consider the broader implications for global food security and the potential consequences for other countries that rely on Ukrainian exports. The situation serves as a stark reminder of the far-reaching effects of conflict on economies and communities worldwide. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into our middle segment today, where we're discussing the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Reports have been emerging of a devastating drone attack on a shopping mall in Kryvyi Rih, Ukraine, resulting in significant loss of life and injury. The Ukrainian government has condemned the attack, with President Zelensky describing it as an absolute Russian atrocity. Russia has been intensifying its ballistic missile attacks on Kyiv, exploiting Ukraine's shortage of defensive systems. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces have been launching drone strikes deep into Russian territory, targeting oil refineries and military airfields. It's crucial to recognize that both sides have suffered losses, and the humanitarian impact of this conflict cannot be overstated. The United Nations has reported a significant number of civilian casualties in recent weeks, with many more displaced or affected by the fighting. As we strive to provide a balanced view of this story, it's worth noting that the international community is closely watching the situation, with many countries calling for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The use of drones and long-range strikes has become a hallmark of this war, with both sides seeking to gain an advantage on the battlefield. As we continue to monitor developments in Ukraine, it's clear that the situation remains volatile and unpredictable. We'll be keeping a close eye on the situation and providing updates as more information becomes available. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As the country gears up for its upcoming election, incumbent President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva is maintaining his lead over challenger Senator Flavio Bolsonaro, according to a recent Datafolha poll. The survey shows Lula with 47% of the vote in a simulated second-round runoff, compared to Bolsonaro's 43%. This margin has narrowed by 1% since the previous poll in July. It's worth noting that this is the first Datafolha poll released since the official campaign began, allowing candidates to actively seek votes. In a first-round scenario, Lula leads with 39% of the votes, followed closely by Bolsonaro at 33%. Other contenders, including Ronaldo Caiado, Renan Santos, and Romu Zema, trail behind with significantly lower percentages. Meanwhile, President Lula has been engaging in diplomatic efforts, including a recent phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump to discuss tariffs imposed on Brazilian goods. The two leaders reportedly discussed the need for negotiations to resolve the dispute, with Lula emphasizing that the allegations cited by Washington are unfounded and would harm both economies. As Brazil navigates these complex issues, it's essential to stay informed about the latest developments. We will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.